My husband is cheating on me. Apparently, he's been showering his mistress with designer goods. What's more, he used my credit card for these extravagant purchases. I've put up with it for our son's sake, but I've reached my limit. I can't forgive this. I have to do something. The one who came to my aid was the last person I expected. My name is Flora, 35 years old. I've been married to Adam for 10 years. Our beloved son Dominic turned 8 this year. Always having loved reading, I'm now living my dream as a novelist, my chosen career. My mystery series gained a significant following, allowing me to secure several monthly serials. Thankfully, my standalone books are also selling well, keeping me busy every day. Initially, my husband had a job, but the moment I started earning, he quit. For the last 2 or 3 years, he's mostly lounged around at home, occasionally going out to play pachinko. Yet today, unusually, he's changed into a suit. Something's not right. Why the suit? I decided to boldly ask my husband. Adam, it's rare to see you in a suit. Where are you going? My husband's eyes widened in surprise, but he quickly returned to his usual tone and said, A job interview. A job interview? For what? Well, it's obviously for a job, right? I thought it might be time for me to start working again. I see. Good luck. Yeah, I'm off. At that moment, I genuinely believed he was going for a job interview. I thought that with our son still so young, he had reconsidered his priorities for the future. However, my husband didn't return home until 1 a.m. that night. I happened to be awake because of a looming deadline. Reeking of alcohol and perfume, he fell asleep on the living room sofa. In his hand was his smartphone, unlocked. Out of sheer curiosity, I peeked at my husband's phone. What? What is this? I can't believe this! To cut to the chase, my husband was cheating on me. What's more shocking, his affair was with my best friend, Delphine. It seemed like they had been to a fancy restaurant with a beautiful night view that day. The shock was like a dull blow. It was too much. How could Adam cheat on me with Delphine? Why? Doesn't Delphine have a husband too? I trusted them both. The unexpected reality hit me, and tears welled up in my eyes. Knowing I shouldn't wake my husband, I stifled my sobs. Evidence. Yes, evidence. For now, I sent the evidence of the affair to my own phone and decided to think about the next steps. The next morning, I casually asked my husband, who was acting as usual. Hey, Adam, about yesterday. Yesterday? You know, you said you had an interview, but you came home late. I was just wondering what happened. Then my husband averted his eyes, showing signs of thinking up an excuse. Actually, I ran into a friend after the interview. We ended up going for a drink. A friend? Who? Some guy you don't know, Flora. Do I need to explain everything? Yeah, you're right. As expected, my husband concealed the fact that he had met with Delphine. His affair was clear from this attitude as well. 1 month after discovering my husband's infidelity, I was still lost in confusion. Until now, I hadn't confronted my husband about the fact he was cheating. Once I bring it up, it's clear that a crack would form in our relationship. If I was alone, I would have confronted him with the evidence of his affair and divorced him right away. The only reason I didn't divorce him was for our son, Dominic. I couldn't bring myself to take his father away from him at the tender age of 8. Afterwards, my husband started going out frequently, taking advantage of me being busy with work in my room. However, this was also an excellent opportunity. While he was out, I decided to gather evidence of his infidelity. What I found in his room were several unfamiliar receipts. Apparently, he had been buying women's designer items. But there was nothing like that in his room. And of course, I hadn't received anything. There was only one conclusion I could reach. Adam, you've been lavishing Delphine with designer items. But where did he get the money for that? He's jobless now and living off the allowance I give him every month. There's likely no savings left. Concerned, I decided to follow him. During that time, I would call my brother over to watch over Dominic. Of course, my brother didn't know about my husband's affair. I lied to my brother. Bro, sorry for calling you out of the blue.
Nah, it's fine. But what's up? Suddenly asking me to look after Dominic?
Actually, I really want to go shopping alone.
Shopping? You've never been much of a materialist. Don't you usually shop online?
Well, that's true. But today, I want to buy something that's only available in the store. So, can you please look after Dominic?
Well, alright. But don't be too late, okay? Dominic gets lonely.
Yeah, thank you. Thus, with my brother's cooperation, I successfully managed to tail my husband. Right now, he's walking arm in arm with my best friend, Delphine. I knew it was happening, but seeing it with my own eyes was a shock. The two of them cheerfully entering a high-end designer store. And then I saw something outrageous. No way! Is that my credit card? Indeed, the card my husband used to pay the bill was my secondary credit card. I always keep my main card in my wallet, but the secondary one was left in a drawer. He took it without my knowledge and used it to fund his gifts. Over the past few months, I've been buying new work tools like monitors and keyboards and even new furniture, so the amount on the credit card has skyrocketed. Both cards are linked to the same bank account, and because I've been busy recently, I haven't checked the details carefully. This came back to bite me. I can't believe it. Not only was he cheating on me, but he was also freely using my money. Any love I had for my husband had completely cooled off. Of course, I was at fault for not noticing, but I still couldn't forgive him. I took clear pictures of the two of them in the act and returned home. For the next few days, I was engrossed in thinking about how to get back at my husband. I checked his usual use computer multiple times when he wasn't around. Since he syncs his smartphone and computer, I can easily check his and Delphine's exchanges on the computer. Soon, I found out that the two of them were going on a trip during the upcoming long weekend. A 4-day, 3-night trip to Okinawa. Yep, this is my only chance. I decided to execute my revenge plan to coincide with my husband's affair trip. But there was one problem. That was the presence of my son. It would be difficult to carry out this plan without my son finding out about his father's infidelity. I decided to rely on my brother's help again. Hey, bro, sorry to ask again, but could you look after Dominic for me during the upcoming long weekend?
You mean for the entire 4 days?
Yeah, I have something I need to do.
Something to do. Huh.
He says with a meaningful tone. Just as I was feeling uneasy about my brother's attitude, he firmly said this.
Flora, stop trying to handle everything on your own.
Bro?
Adam's cheating on you, isn't he?
What? How did you know?
I heard it from Dominic.
Huh? Dominic? Even though he was still a child, my son had noticed his father's infidelity. I don't know if he understood the concept of infidelity, but he knew that his father was becoming close with someone who wasn't his mother, and that this was causing his mother pain. It seemed that Dominic, in his own childlike way, had noticed this. But I thought I was hiding it well from Dominic. How?
It means Adam has hurt you so much that even Dominic could see it. Are you still planning to be with a man like that?
But if I divorce Adam, Dominic will be upset. As soon as I muttered this, my son, who was supposed to be in the next room, appeared. It's okay, Mom. I'm on your side. Dominic, are you sure? I don't need someone who makes Mom sad. As long as I have Mom, I'm okay. Thank you, Dominic. And thank you too, bro. And so, thanks to my son and brother, I was able to make up my mind to get revenge on my husband without any hesitation. We started moving to a new place on the day my husband was leaving for his affair trip. My brother helped us, and we secretly packed when my husband was away. Then, on the night before the long weekend, I decided to give my husband one last chance. I asked him, who was excited about his trip starting tomorrow, straight to the point. Adam, what's with the luggage? Why are you preparing a suitcase?
Oh, this? Actually, I'm going on a trip with a friend from tomorrow.
A trip? Did you mention anything about that?
It's a sudden decision. Who cares? I'm going with the budget of the monthly allowance I get.
Wanting to avoid further questions, my husband was emitting a "don't talk to me anymore" aura. But I couldn't care less about his situation. I questioned my husband in a voice lower than I've ever used before. "Hey, is it really with a friend?" My husband was visibly shaken, his shoulders twitching. Still, he desperately lied.
Of course! You've been nagging me!
I see. That's nice. A trip with a friend. Have fun.
I was gonna have fun even if you didn't tell me to.
Well, just don't get too carried away, okay? Leaving those words, I exited my husband's room. Honestly, if he had confessed the truth here, I was considering just asking for alimony and child support and settling things amicably. Even though he cheated on me, he was someone I once loved. When my novel didn't sell, it was because of him that I could keep going. I didn't want to hate him or resent him from the bottom of my heart. However, I can't afford to be so composed after what he's done. For the sake of my son and for my future, I have to put an end to my relationship with that man. There's no need to hold back any longer for a man who keeps lying. The next early morning, my husband had already left for his trip. I opened the drawer and confirmed that he had taken my credit card as usual. I immediately contacted the credit card company, reported the loss of the card, and requested a stop to its use. My son woke up and I greeted him. "Good morning," he responded with a wide smile. "Mom, it's today, right?" "Huh?" "The move! We're going to our new home today, right?" Seeing my son's sparkling eyes, the last bit of anxiety I had disappeared. "Oh, Dominic. All right, I've stopped the credit card. Let's move to our new home." "Yeah, that's right! I'm excited for our new home!" With my brother's help, our move went smoothly. My son and I moved our things to the new house, and my husband's things were sent off to a certain place. The next day, while relaxing at the new house with my son and brother, I received a call from my husband. "Hello?"
Is that you, Flora?
"Do you need something?"
Well, actually, I've ended up spending more than I thought. Could you transfer me just a little bit?
He probably couldn't use the card because I'd suspended it and was having trouble paying for things on his trip. He was asking for money indirectly without mentioning the card, which was disgusting. "You said you were going to stay within your allowance, right?" "Sorry, but I can't afford to lend you anything."
Don't say that. I can't enjoy the trip alone if you do that.
"Alone? Don't you mean for two?" At that question, my husband let out a dumbfounded, "Huh?" "You wanted to show Delphine the sights on your trip, right? But too bad. The card you took is no longer usable, so give it up."
Whoa, what are you talking about, Flora? Who's Delphine? What about the card?
"It's useless to feign ignorance. Actually, you're too flustered."
It's because you're saying things I don't understand. I don't know anything about the card.
"That's enough. It's already out that you cheated on me with my best friend Delphine."
Huh?
"Did you actually think it wasn't exposed? Are you stupid? It's so obvious."
No, this isn't what it looks like. It's not cheating.
I was extremely angry at my husband, who was still trying to make excuses. Not caring that my brother and son were around, I let out all the anger I'd been holding in. "Don't make excuses! You had a family, but you had an affair with another woman, and you even used someone else's card. Do you realize how low you've sunk?"
Yeah, Flora, let's calm down.
Calm down? How am I supposed to stay calm when dealing with the person I hate most in the world? Let me tell you, I have no intention of forgiving or helping you. I hope you and that woman you cheated with fall straight to hell. Don't you dare show your face in front of me and Dominic ever again." I unilaterally hung up on my husband. Then I got a call from Delphine, the woman he cheated with. "What the heck, Flora? What have you done?" "Ah, Delphine. Long time no see. How's the trip with your best friend's husband?" "Shut up! Explain yourself first!" "What are you talking about?" "Don't play dumb! You sent Adam's stuff to my house, didn't you?" Indeed. During the move, I had sent my husband's belongings to Delphine's house, the woman he had an affair with. Since Delphine was married, her husband was naturally at home. That's why I purposely sent all of Adam's belongings to her husband. I included a long letter explaining the situation and yelled at her over the phone, almost cracking the speaker. "Are you kidding me? What have you done? My husband found out and he's furious!" "Isn't that natural? You're having an affair even though you're married." "To think my best friend would do such a dirty thing! You're the worst! I am so disappointed!" "Excuse me? I think that's my line. My best friend was cheating with my husband. You think I would forgive that? Who was the one who did the disrespectful thing first, even though we were best friends?" I wasn't serious. It was just a fling. There's no way I would settle for a jobless loser like him." "Whether you were serious or not is none of my business. I'm getting a divorce soon too. Either way, the fact that you had an affair is true. I will never forgive you. I'll demand the maximum amount of compensation, so be prepared." Compensation? What? I didn't hear anything about that. "Isn't it natural? You did something worthy of it." "Wait, I'm a housewife. I can't pay compensation." "I don't care. You can figure it out yourself. Or maybe beg your husband, although I guess that's unlikely." "Wait a minute, Flora! Hey, wait!" "Goodbye." I hung up the phone without letting her speak and blocked her contact. After that, I finalized the divorce through a lawyer and demanded compensation from my ex-husband and Delphine. I demanded child support plus the amount he spent on the card without permission. Delphine, burdened with debt from paying the compensation, was served divorce papers by her husband and was apparently kicked out of their house. He tried to rely on his family home, but the circumstances were what they were. After being swiftly turned away, he's apparently now living in and working the night shift. He tried to rely on her, but she flipped out, blaming him for ending up getting divorced. She quickly cut off ties with him, and their relationship naturally fizzled out. As for my ex-husband, I hear he's now juggling several part-time jobs and just scraping by day to day. For someone who's been unemployed for a long time, finding a decent job won't be easy. Of course, if he ever falls behind on the compensation or child support payments, I'm determined to collect it by any means necessary. As for me, my son and I are living a peaceful life in our new home. My son is growing up so fast, and every day is truly fresh and exciting. I hope to continue pouring a lot of love into him without causing him any sadness.
Here's a celebration gift, $2,000. After giving birth and returning to my husband's family home, my mother-in-law handed us an envelope with $2,000 as a baby gift. I checked the contents and then threw the envelope into the trash. Was this their payback for enduring days of being belittled by my mother-in-law and senior employees? What are you doing? Apologize to Mom, I scolded my flustered husband. Can you say the same after seeing this? My husband, after checking the envelope's contents, glared at his mother with anger he had never shown before. And then he made a decision. My name is Scarlett Wood, 28 years old. I had an arranged marriage with my husband, Elijah. Elijah, 2 years older than me, is the eldest son of a Japanese sweets shop and was raised strictly as the heir, but he is a very gentle and kind person. From the moment we first met, I was drawn to his kindness. I want people around the world to know the beauty and delicate taste of Japanese sweets, so I work as a Japanese sweets artisan. Will you help make my dream come true? Elijah said this and presented me with a Japanese sweet made in my image instead of an engagement ring. As I was moved to tears, Elijah continued to speak. When we get married, Scarlett, you'll work as the young mistress of our shop. Also, we'll live with my parents in our family home. Is that okay? Living with my in-laws was a condition of the marriage. There's a lot that comes with marrying an heir, but as long as Elijah is with me, everything will be fine. Thinking this way, I accepted his proposal. We became husband and wife. As promised, after the marriage, we started living with my in-laws in the residence that also served as the Japanese sweets shop. Scarlett, you married into this family, so of course you should be prepared. Behave properly as the young mistress. Yes. The day I stepped into my husband's family home, I was already met with harsh words from my mother-in-law. The sweet married life I had dreamt of didn't exist in this world. Scarlett, how many times do I have to tell you? Learn our traditions properly. Please be more aware that you're the young mistress and act accordingly. It's so hard on our headmistress to have someone like you marry into our family. I faced daily criticism from my mother-in-law and senior female employees. My father-in-law didn't speak much, but when he was watching me, I felt tense and would sometimes make mistakes because of it. He would sigh loudly, seeing my performance. There was no place for me to feel at ease in this house. But I was determined to work hard, earn everyone's approval, and become a wife Elijah wouldn't be ashamed of. That feeling alone kept me going. During this time, I found out I was pregnant. Take care of yourself and give birth to a fine heir. Everyone, starting with my mother-in-law, began to be more considerate of my condition. At the 5-month pregnancy checkup, I learned the baby's gender and excitedly shared the news during dinner with my in-laws and Elijah. Our baby is a girl. For a moment, everyone froze. A girl? Oh, a girl. Huh. Wait, no one is offering congratulations. Elijah kept his gaze down, silently continuing to eat without making eye contact with anyone. I was taken aback by everyone's attitude. Does an heir have to be a boy? Unable to understand the Mr. Wood family's mindset, I ate my meal in frustration. The next day, everyone's attitude changed completely. Pregnancy isn't an illness. Stop being spoiled and work hard. As soon as they found out the baby was a girl, the criticism and mistreatment from my mother-in-law and senior employees returned. Why can't a girl inherit the Japanese sweets shop? I felt sorry for my unborn child, who wouldn't be welcomed into the world with smiles and blessings. I made up my mind to protect her, no matter what. I think you've noticed, Elijah, I've been criticized every day since I married into this family. The way they treat me since they found out our child is a girl is unbearable. One day, I couldn't take it anymore and told Elijah. He looked troubled. Scarlett, I'm sorry. I'm still in training. I don't have the right to oppose this family. Please bear with it. If you learn your job quickly, I'm sure my mother and others will stop criticizing you. I'm very happy whether our child is a boy or a girl. Please take care of yourself. With that, Elijah quickly went to take a bath. Though he tried to be considerate, I was shocked by how unreliable Elijah was. But I rubbed my belly. I can't let this get me down. I'm going to be a mother. I must become strong for that reason. With that in mind, I endured the mistreatment and criticism alone, dreaming of the day my child would be born healthy. In my in-laws' home, I was mainly responsible for cooking dinner. When buying groceries, I'd pay for them first, then give the receipt to my mother-in-law, who would reimburse me. This system made it difficult to buy what I wanted since she checked the receipts meticulously. Because of this system and my mother-in-law's thorough examination of the receipts, it was hard for me to buy things I really wanted to eat. However, after becoming pregnant, I often found myself craving sour and sweet foods. Should I buy it? But I don't want my mother-in-law to make snide remarks again. I debated while shopping, but never found the courage to buy anything. One day, though, I desperately wanted something sweet. Feeling helpless, I agonized over it before finally asking Elijah, who was working in the shop. Oh, I can't help but crave sweets because of the pregnancy. Can I have some scraps or something if there are any? Sure, just wait a moment. Elijah secretly wrapped up some leftover scraps from making the sweets in plastic wrap, avoiding the eyes of the employees. Thank you. But just then, my mother-in-law appeared. What are you doing here, Scarlett? My mother-in-law's gaze falls on my hand. Well, how shameless. This is the workshop for the artisans. I won't allow you to come in here anymore. Saying this, she snatches the scraps Elijah had given me and kicks me out of the workshop. One day, as I open the fridge to prepare dinner, I find it packed with high-end ingredients like luxurious Wagyu beef that I've never seen before. Since I can't use the fridge's contents without my mother-in-law's permission, I ask her for confirmation. Can I use the food in the fridge? What are you talking about? That's for Natalie, who's coming back the day after tomorrow. Don't you dare use it. She coldly responds. Natalie is Elijah's sister. She married into a farming family and now, 3 months pregnant and suffering from morning sickness, she's apparently coming back to her parents' house. Returning home just 3 months into her pregnancy. I'm 7 months pregnant and I've been used and abused, being told pregnancy isn't an illness. I have a lot on my mind, but the more I think about it, the more miserable I become. So I pull myself together and prepare dinner using the other ingredients. On the day Natalie returns home, my mother-in-law is in high spirits from mourning. She had originally opposed Natalie marrying into the farming family and seems overjoyed to have her back home after a long time. I'll cook dinner today, Scarlett, so you can go and take a leisurely walk. Unusually, my mother-in-law is kind. Usually, I'm busy in the evenings and can't take leisurely walks, so I decide to take advantage of her offer. The sky is so high. The sky I look up at after a long time is dyed red and it warmly envelops me. When I suddenly touch my belly, I feel the baby move. Mommy will work hard for you, so come out healthy and strong, I whisper to my unborn child. Oh, what a delicious smell. When I return home, I'm greeted by the aroma of grilled steak. As I try to enter the living room, I hear voices from the inside. Natalie, eat a lot for the sake of your baby. Peeking inside, I see my mother-in-law has lined up a variety of dishes in front of Natalie. At the table, my father-in-law and Elijah are silently eating steak. What about Scarlett's portion? The moment Elijah says this and looks up, our eyes meet. Oh, don't worry. I made some stew for her. At my mother-in-law's reply, Elijah says nothing and looks away from me. There's no steak for me. I can't take it anymore and quietly go to our bedroom, trying not to draw attention. I'm pregnant, just like Natalie, yet no one tells me to eat a lot. Seeing the reality that I'm being excluded, I can't hold back my tears any longer. Why do I have to suffer like this? Neither my unborn child nor I are welcomed in this house. I just want to leave this place. My tears keep flowing endlessly. After a while, Elijah comes in with a cold piece of steak. I secretly brought you my portion. It's cold, but I'm sorry for making you feel even sadder with my sister here. He genuinely apologizes, looking remorseful. I should be more assertive, but I'm not good with my mom and sister. My mom struggled with my grandma, so she probably thinks this is normal for a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. My sister didn't like me since I was little because I was the eldest son and got a lot of attention. And she's always been mean to me behind my back. They're both strong-willed and troublesome. So honestly, I don't want to deal with them. Your family issues have nothing to do with me. Although he apologized, I realize he won't particularly protect me. or our child in the future. Feeling even more miserable due to Elijah's unreliability, I eat the steak he offers, though I have no appetite, thinking of the baby in my belly. Even though it's supposed to be high-quality meat, I can't taste it. I mechanically chew and somehow manage to swallow it. Life after Natalie's return is even harder for pregnant me. Scarlett, please fetch this for me. My mother-in-law doesn't hesitate to make me work despite my big belly. Natalie, you should rest until your morning sickness subsides. Meanwhile, Natalie takes advantage of being pampered by her parents and lounges around the house all day. We're both pregnant, but even though my belly is much bigger, it's frustrating, but for now, I have to quietly endure it. Scarlett, I brought some pudding for you. The fact that Elijah started secretly buying me food I wanted to eat because he must have felt sorry for the unbearable treatment I was receiving was at least a small comfort. One day, I happened to see that Natalie's room was filled with high-end branded baby products and maternity items. I had held back and bought everything at a cheap store on the outskirts of town. Both our children would be grandchildren to my in-laws, so why is there such a difference? I tried not to care, but it made me very sad. On December 20th, I finally gave birth to a baby girl. Elijah cried tears of joy. I'll grow up quickly and protect both you and our child. Elijah made this promise to me. When we returned to my in-laws' house after being discharged from the hospital, my mother-in-law surprisingly welcomed us with a smile. Let me hold her for a bit. I handed the baby to my mother-in-law, and as expected, she was skilled at soothing the baby since she had raised 2 children herself. I guess she loves her grandchild after all. I felt a little relieved seeing my mother-in-law's demeanor. After a while, she returned the baby to me and took an envelope out of her pocket to give to Elijah. Here's a gift, $2,000. What? That much? I was surprised, but Elijah didn't seem too shocked. Maybe in this family, it's normal to give that much as a gift. Elijah handed the envelope to me without checking the contents, so I put the baby in the crib before accepting it. I checked the contents just in case. What? What is this? My mother-in-law looked away, smirking. Enough already. I threw the envelope into the trash. Hey, what are you doing? Apologize to my mom. Elijah panicked. Would you say the same thing if you saw this? I picked up the discarded envelope and showed Elijah the contents. Upon seeing it, Elijah furrowed his brows. Unbelievably, instead of $2,000, the envelope contained a bundle of receipts and invoices for luxury food and maternity items that my in-laws had prepared for Natalie. What's the meaning of this, Mom? Even Elijah raised his voice. It's only natural for the eldest son's family to pay for our household expenses. My mother-in-law shamelessly spouted nonsense. Why should we have to pay for the maternity items and baby gear meant for Natalie, who had married into our family? I can't stay silent any longer. I made up my mind to leave this house with my child. At that moment, Elijah's low voice echoed, I'm leaving this house. What? The room went quiet, and everyone, including me, looked at Elijah. Elijah glared at his mother with a rage I'd never seen before. What do you think we are? Your attitude towards Scarlett, how you acted when you found out our child is a girl, and how you always interfere with the store I was put in charge of. I've always been unhappy with it, but as the eldest son of this confectionery shop, I thought I'd endure it until I became a capable person to protect the shop. However, I've reached my limit. Our family is leaving this house. I won't take over the shop. Thank you for everything, Elijah said and deeply bowed to his parents. My in-laws were speechless at the unexpected turn of events and eventually left the room silently. Scarlett, I'm truly sorry for everything. I'll protect you and our child. I decided to leave this house on my own. But Will you stay by my side? Elijah's face returned to its usual gentle expression. Yes, thank you for protecting us. Let's overcome any difficulties together as a family of 3. From the next day, Elijah started looking for a new home, and a week later, our new life as a family of 3 began. Our new home was a small 2DK apartment, but it was very happy and a comforting space for me. Make sure you eat a lot and sleep well when you can. And to my surprise, our new home was only a 5-minute walk from my parents' house. Elijah is really a wonderful person. It's rare for someone to admit their weakness and ask for help as an adult. According to my mother, had explained and apologized for everything to my parents the night he decided to leave, asking for their help moving forward. You can always rely on us. We're so happy that you're close by. I cried at my mother's kindness. Elijah occasionally gets messages from his mother asking to show their grandchild, but he seems to only send pictures. After discussing as a couple, we decided that our family and his parents should keep a distance for a while, and we never told them our new address. Thanks to that, we were able to live peaceful days. Scarlett, we're running out of diapers. I'll go buy some. Elijah actively helped with housework and childcare, and we cherished our modest happiness, living humbly every day. I'm thinking of starting my own business. One day, Elijah came to me for advice. Even though the path to inherit his family's business had been closed off, Elijah, who had been fascinated by traditional Japanese sweets since he was a child, had not given up on being involved with them. His dream of sharing the beauty and delicate taste of Japanese sweets with people all over the world, which he had shared with me before we got married, was still alive in his heart. To make that dream come true, Elijah decided to start an online store for Japanese sweets. I was inspired by him. I wanted to help him achieve his dream too. With that thought in mind, I wondered if I could utilize the experience I had gained while briefly involved in making Japanese sweets at my in-laws' house, and I brainstormed in between housework and childcare. Look at the beautiful Japanese sweets Papa made. One day, showed our child the Japanese sweets he had made. Although our 0-year-old child couldn't eat them yet, their eyes sparkled, and they laughed excitedly at the sight of gentle colors unique to Japanese sweets. Seeing that, I had a flash of inspiration. What about Japanese sweets that even babies can eat? In my head, I pictured cute baby smiles and Japanese sweets overlapping. As soon as I told Elijah, he agreed, saying, "That's a great idea," and incorporated my suggestion. We focused on developing Japanese sweets that utilize the natural sweetness of ingredients like sweet potatoes instead of sugar, and the gentle colors of the ingredients themselves without using food coloring, all while making them suitable for babies. And in about 3 months, we created the product we had envisioned. At first, we placed our sweets in a friend's Japanese sweet shop and observed the customers' reactions. The feedback was better than we could have ever imagined, with comments saying they were perfect for first meals and birthday parties. This could work. With that thought, we started selling our sweets online, and they became a huge hit in no time. The media picked up our story, and our company steadily grew. Until the business took off, Elijah and I were fully occupied with childcare and work. However, by the time our daughter turned 2, the company had stabilized and was generating a steady income. As we gained some breathing room, I suddenly thought of Elijah's family, with whom we hadn't spoken for almost 2 years. In fact, after we left, I heard that Natalie developed preeclampsia during her pregnancy and had to be hospitalized. Perhaps it wasn't good for her to eat high-calorie food and expensive meat from her in-laws without exercising much. She had to endure a restricted pregnancy with strict bed rest and dietary restrictions. Well, everyone must have been relieved when a healthy baby boy was born. Unfortunately, the bad news continued as the family's Japanese sweets shop went out of business after Elijah left. What happened to your parents after they closed the shop? When I asked Elijah, he said they were living modestly on their pension. Despite not having many good memories, they were still the people who raised Elijah. 2 years had passed since we left his family's home, and our anger had somewhat subsided. So, after discussing with Elijah, we decided to give each of his parents $2,000 in cash as a birthday present. By the way, the amount of $2,000 came from the $2,000 his mother had mentioned as a childbirth gift. We didn't know if she remembered, but if she did, we hoped she would reflect on it. Later, we received a message from Elijah that the money we sent by registered mail had arrived. His parents were apparently very happy. Although we weren't ready to visit his family's home yet, we believed time would resolve this issue. As long as we live our lives with pride, things should move in a positive direction. Childcare is still a challenge, but with the support of my parents, I can focus on Japanese sweets with Elijah. Mom, is this my candy? Yes, Cherry. The cherry blossom petals are beautiful, aren't they? Tasty? Delicious. I'm so happy. My daughter touches her cheek with a delighted expression. This is a Japanese sweet we developed to be edible even for 1-year-olds, melting in their mouths without needing to be chewed. We made it into a cute Japanese sweet shaped like cherry blossom petals, inspired by our daughter's name, Cherry. I hope this sweet, like our child, brings smiles to everyone's faces. Mom, here! Open wide! My daughter feeds me a piece of the sweet. The gentle sweetness melts in my mouth. I love that face, Mom. I hope this blissful moment with Japanese sweets reaches people all around the world.